Hello riders, my name is Star. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and to another taming guide, this time on Riders of Icarus. It's been a while, I've been recording some content from Divine Icarus, but today I am going to show you how to tame this absolutely menacing looking dragon. This is Karon. He is a legendary dragon from the cross-server PvP area Stygia. And in this video I am going to tell you all about how to tame him and what to keep in mind. Of course, first things first, we are going to need a recipe. Karon's mark recipe is required to craft a mark for him. It requires stage 3 barter crafting, so let's take a look at what is needed. Now the complex familiar orbs and high taming elixirs at this point should be absolutely no trouble. They can drop in boxes of 10 from mobs in the Dread Citadel. Very easy to obtain enough to make this recipe. Then we will need 2 heroic familiars, Aragos and Attila. And along with that we will need 5 items called Flames of Contempt. Now let's start with these little guys. I have some in my storage, I believe. Let's take a look at what they are.
My lockboxes are safe and secure.
Expand. Right here. I have enough actually to craft a mark. Right, I actually have enough. We need 5 for the recipe. And it says you can sense Karon's hatred fueling the heat within this fragment. Use to craft the mark needed to tame Karon. So it says it is found in the Glittering Vault and the Dread Citadel, right here in this region. Now there happens to be bosses in those places. The Glittering Vault has Van Deeken and the Dread Citadel has Orun. And they can apparently drop these fragments. Now I've never really gone for the Stygia world bosses because they are quite tough. So I can't say that I have seen these drop myself. However, I have seen these drop from Karon himself. Now, a thing that you should know is that Karon has 2 different variants. There is Karon, which is tameable, and then there is Extinct Karon, which is not tameable. And of course, Extinct Karon needs to be killed in order for a tameable Karon to have a chance at spawning. Now, both of these can drop these Flames of Contempt themselves, and they can drop their own recipe, by the way, as well as the Stygia world bosses I just mentioned. So that is where to get these Flames of Contempt. Let's move on to Aragos and Attila, because that is going to be a bit of a problem. Both require their own recipe, and again they can drop from Karon, from the world bosses and from themselves. So I have both of them right here, so let's see what is needed in order to craft them. Attila is interesting, because as you can see, the materials for the mark are not very complex at all. We need again some complex familiar orbs, high taming elixirs, and some elite seals. The marks for these elites can drop from any mob inside the heart of Stygia. So with the heart of Stygia I mean this area right here. So crafting the mark is not very difficult. However, in order to tame Attila,
My lockboxes are safe and secure.
We need an armor set. We need complex slayer armor, and we need to equip all 5 pieces in order to tame Attila. So let me take this out. There we go.
Thanks for your business.
And equip it. And as you can see, Attila can be tamed right there. So you need to wear this set in order to be able to jump on him, and of course you need to have a mark. Now, for Aragos, we might want to keep that complex slayer armor, because Aragos has the haunted debuff, just like Karon himself, by the way. That is a taming debuff, and it decreases your taming chance by about 20%, so it is quite significant. However, wearing 4 or 5 pieces from this armor will make you immune to that effect, so it also increases your taming chance. This armor set is not required to jump on Aragos, but since he has the debuff, it would be a good idea to bring at least 4 pieces to wear so that the debuff won't bother you. Now, same story for Attila. Complex familiar orbs, high taming elixirs, 2 elites, different ones this time, can also be found in the heart of Stygia, and another item, Vengeful Spirit fragments. A Vengeful Spirit's final memory is imbued within this fragment, used to craft the mark needed to tame Icarus. So again, this can drop from Stygia world bosses in the heart of Stygia, and I have also seen it drop from Karon, Extinct Karon, and Attila himself. Now, the drop rate for the Vengeful Spirit fragments and the Flames of Contempt are quite low, so prepare for a quite long grind with the Legendary and Heroics with the world bosses in order to get all of this. So, once you have that, all is left to craft a mark, and then you can attempt a tame. Now, currently at the market, at least on the Kuroshima server, and I believe on the Icarus server as well, Karon marks go for a relatively cheap price. Now, the reason that they are quite cheap is because they can also drop from Endangered Familiar's Lucky Box. Now, this is something that I believe you can also buy in the Elora's shop. I couldn't find it very quickly, but I believe it's somewhere in there, and it is also given away often by Velof as compensation for bugs and fixes and stuff like that. So, we got our marks, we got our armor. Let's head into the practical information for taming. So this not so little being spawns in, of course, Karon's nest in Stygia. The nearby shrine is in Grimville right here, quite easy to access. So let's get into the practicalities. Karon will fly around here, as he's of course airborne, and you will see 1, 2, 3 stone pillars here. Now these are important because you're going to want to drag Karon to one of these pillars to fight him melee. No pets, no mounts. This is because he drains their energy really quickly and uses it to increase his defense. So not only will your familiars just die incredibly quickly when they're near him, he uses that energy to restore his own health quicker than usual. So that's not what you want, of course. That's why always drag him to the cliff, fight him melee. Now, if you want to tame this guy and you have no fated marks, be prepared for quite a long fight. Because this guy is really stubborn. He is one of the hardest mounts to tame in this game, even to date. Even with the complex Slayer armor and all kinds of different buffs to help with your taming, there is still a considerable chance that he will knock you off a lot of times. Karon has a respawn time of 4.5 hours, so compared to other heroics and legendaries on this region, that is actually not that long. So, right, you're here, finally. You have all your stuff, you've dragged him to a cliff, you're fighting him. Now what you've got to keep in mind is that this is of course a cross-server PvP zone, meaning that players from other servers can do damage to you. They can fight you, they can kill you, which makes it again a lot more difficult to actually tame this guy. My number one tip for this is be on time, because it takes a while for people who see the spawn message to first get to Stygia, then get to Grimville, then get to the nest. If you are here on time before he spawns, then you have a few minutes of extra time before other people will start to show up. Another reason why you should do this is you can form alliances with people who are already here, even if they are from other servers. Always try to approach people by being friendly, showing them that you are no threat, and ask them to get into a party or in a raid with you. You can make a party on the cross-server party board by pressing T, or you can type in the chat /invite spacebar and then insert the player's name. Because when you're in a party together, you cannot attack your party members. And aside from that, you'll also be able to clearly see who is a friend and who may be a threat. When you have formed a bit of an alliance, you can also decide who is going to tame first. Are there people who are first-time tamers? Are there people who have fated marks? Usually people who are willing to negotiate are also willing to let new tamers and tamers with regular marks attempt first, before players who have already tamed this mount or players who have fated mounts are going to jump. So for now I think that is all. So let's head into some taming footage. Alright, as you can see here, I am fighting a tameable Karon with some of my new friends from the Raken server. We met at an earlier spawn and we talked for a bit. They're very nice, so we agreed to form an alliance for the next time that he would spawn. And luckily he spawned tameable. So the priest of the group, Javauden, is a first-time tamer, so we agreed that they would go first. So we're just lowering him, and considering no one else showed up, I took it upon myself to keep the aggro and reset him so that Javauden would have a little bit of an extra advantage going into the tame. So the taming conditions are met, as you can see, and my other two friends are currently backing off so that we don't accidentally kill him. Now I did get him a bit lower because he has quite a high recovery rate and a long reset. So this is to prevent that he becomes untamable when resetting. Alright, I've got him nearly dead, but not entirely. So it's time to reset. Now we gotta fly all the way back to the passage leading up to his nest. That is how long the reset is. As you can see, there he goes. And they're on. Now, they had normal marks, so it would be quite a challenge. But they got incredibly lucky. Very lucky. And in just a minute, boom, tamed him on the very first attempt. That is absolutely incredible. We ended up exchanging Discord so we could keep an eye on his spawn for each other. And that leads to this next fight. We have here one of my guildmates and someone else who was interested in taming Karon, that's a wizard. So this is my taming attempt, and we have tried resetting him, but I was too incapable to jump on him, so after 2 failed jumps, I figured I should just hop on and try my luck. I had 6 marks, so I would be decently covered, and there we go.